morning! To how see use in the morning today will have the most relevant for you bit information. Have you coffee and you use your day in the day summary? Where it started with my cream de my cherries of Perla, Marisol in the Helen, the Omicron variant all the country, Diego in the sports we say Utah has done in the Atlas match Hastings Leon. Jasmine in Cortera shows the country. She is a morning. Finally, Fernanda with the police news. Welcome, we begin.
Hello, good morning everyone. We are going with the weather forecast in the state of Hidalgo, starting with the state capital. In Pachuca this week we'll have the maximum 19 degrees on Wednesday and the minimum 40 degrees on Sunday. So, if I were you, I would go out warm in the morning and night. However, in Actopan, Tulancingo, and Ixmiquilpan, it will be sunnier with a maximum of 32 degrees, but on the weekend, a bit cold with a minimum of 10 degrees. If you plan to travel to these places, Ixmiquilpan, Actopan, or Tulancingo, I will start looking for sunscreen or sweater for Saturday and Sunday. A show that inhabitants of Real the Mountain cannot miss, since snow is forecast on Friday night, a missable show. If you don't have any plans for this weekend, you will think Real de Monte has an option. It's all and have a nice week.
How about? Welcome! The news on health begins the day Marisol Ramirez informs you. The news is very important in the fight against coronavirus and comes just 2 years after the World Health Organization documented the first case of coronavirus in China. Luckily now, we are in a very different situation compared to 2019. In particular, looking at the number of victims and hospitalizations, and this thanks to the vaccines, but the new Omicron variant generates concern. If you don't vaccines, you could get the new variant. Let's see the next capsule. On December 8, 2019, the first cases of COVID-19 were reported in Wuhan, China, and 2 years later the world is still facing the deadly threat of this coronavirus. More than 5 million people have died globally. While the fact that more than half the world's population and has received at least one dose of vaccine leaves hope for the future now the threat of Omicron, puts the authorities on alert, and Dr. Anthony Fauci, #1 epidemiologist of the White House, reveals that this variant seems to be more contagious than Delta. However, there is some suggestion that it could even be less serious, because when analyzing some of the patients being followed in South Africa, the relationship between the number of infections and the number of hospitalizations appears to be lower than with Delta. There are weeks of studies to have a clear picture on Omicron, but the pharmaceutical company Pfizer has just announced that a third dose of its vaccine against COVID-19 offers a significant protection against the new variant. For action with those who have received only 2 doses, if you apply the third dose, you could have a shield against this variant. The very early results we have seen suggest that vaccines are still going to work and still protect against serious illness, and that which is the main reason we receive vaccines. In an interview last week, the CIO said that if they produce a vaccine specifically targeted at Omicron, they could produce a large doses. We will continue to report in the future news about this variant.
Hello, Atlas champions. With me at the Atlas Stadium, I am going to tell you about the Atlas Soccer team, which finished in the current Mexican Soccer League tournament. This is something really very important and historical because since 1951 he has not won the championship. That is, he has not been champions for 17 years. But if he wins the next game against Lyon, he becomes champions. Unfortunately, there is bad news. The weather does not help. So if they rains the same day or the day before, the game is suspended. I really think Atlas will be champions. If they play like the last game, they win the championship. On the other hand, Lyon is a good team, but if they don't risk everything he has, he loses. I beg you to watch the transmission of the game. The final will be very interesting.
Hello. To love is forget misunderstandings. The months away play alone in the dark. Well, premiere next year's the Bartolome Medina Theater. Everyone goes see it. It is a proportional that no one can miss. Remember to go next January 24. I forget to tell you, in Alone in the Dark, this play features the creative mind of this producer Maurice Gilbert and Enrique Singer. Well, wait you everyone.
Annabel Hernandez Garcia, investigative journalist, and the writing is considered one of the best journalists in the country. This month has come to introduce you with 5 novels of the narco where calling Emma and the other ladies on the narco traffic. The author shows name the official name of the most important drug traffic babies. On the list in the world of Farandula and Ninel Conde, Gloria Trevi, Galilea Montijo, and Angelica Rivera. Anna is called of the President of Mexico to investigate to the appropriates of the faith chariots. Rates have the loss of the 2 figures from the show. Carmen Salinas and Vicente Fernandez died this week. Spider-Man casting decided the most fans, the most anticipated and the highest gross the film of this year's Spider No Way Home. Raised safe on December. Conspiracy on the Spider-Man universe will obviate with their possible appearance on the 3 Spider-Mans.
This is today's police report. Tonight at 9 o'clock on the Pachuca, Mexico highway, a terrible accident happened between 2 cars. The driver of a black car was traveling with his family. They were heading to dinner without knowing what will happen. So while the other driver of the other car then is using his cell phone and being intoxicated while driving after a party. Paramedics avoid hurting the victims of the black car while helping save everyone's lives. There are several injured in this accident, but the most injured are the passengers of the black car. Fortunately, the children are stable. For the welfare of all, if you drink, stop driving. This was the news of the moment. See you tomorrow on this, your favorite newscast, The Reporter.